So, there's a stand so bad it makes Epstein's Island look like it was innocent. Crazy Diamond. Now, it sounds wild, but hear me out. There are things that makes this one of the worst stands ever. On paper, it should be a good stand. Like, you have the base stats of Star Platinum, like it's very similar to Star Platinum. You have a bunch of moves, you have a rage mode, you have a beatdown, it's very, beatdowns, they're cool. But there's something that you can do that completely invalidates the entire stance. You see that? M1's kind of invalidates the entire movesets of the stand because everything is cancelable. Since it's mostly a close range stand, you don't have a lot of choice to be up close, and when you're close you're gonna do a lot of M1s, but to gain an advantage you sometimes have to use moves during those M1s, like for example, you do this, do that, or something like that, whatever. But if all of your moves get cancelled, it means absolutely nothing. And if all of your moves get invalidated, then the only thing that you can do is do M1s. But the problem is that you won't be able to do a lot of damage. But you might be asking, well, if you're using this stand up close, well, you have a projectile, right? The projectile looks good, right? It's a small projectile that does 20 damage and it has a 10-second cooldown. Yeah, sure, maybe. The problem is that the projectile has like a really inconsistent hitbox for some reason. Like, if you're gonna use it like far away, well, maybe that's an exaggeration. But if you're gonna use it far away, your chances of hitting the projectile is very low. Like, for some reason, it's very inconsistent. You're gonna move a lot around in 1v1s, and your opponent is also gonna do that. Like, your chances of hitting that projectile, especially with the kind of inconsistent hitboxes. Now, that's my personal. I think that's personally me that happens. I don't know if other people, it's the same thing for them. But I am never able to hit that projectile for some reason. It's very weird. If your opponent is moving a lot around, you're never gonna hit the thing. Crazy Wall isn't that bad, but it's not a move that you can use very often. Like, if you're gonna do M1 trades, you're never gonna be able to land that move because it's very obvious. You hear the thing coming a mile away, and 2, it's cancelable. So your best bet is mostly throwing the move. Like, for example, you run around and use the move, hoping that you get some damage or a block break. But it's not like, it does decent damage, but like you're rarely gonna get a block break, and it's not very, like, throwing moves in general isn't the best option. And since this moves can only do that, it's not that great. And you have Yo Angelo. This should be like technically the stand that gets like that extends your combos or starts it or like whatever. Like, it's frame 1, you do it instantly and you pop it out. But it's cancelable on startup, so like if you are in an M1 trade, like, it's just like crazy, just like everything else we talked about, like, you're never gonna hit that move. Now, that's only if you hit it on the startup. If you miss the M1 at the startup and you try doing one again, the move will continue. But it's not hard to cancel technically, and you can technically throw the move, but it's not that good at it. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, I mean, either way, it sucks. Like, it's either you're fighting a bear or you're fighting an angry dog. Like, either way, it sucks. Now, the rage counter is kind of cool. I like the rage counters since, it makes a lot of sense, because especially for the character of Josuke, when he gets angry, it's because he's provoked, and, having it as a counter makes a lot of sense. And it just makes the stand very unique. What the fuck is happening? What is this? Please shut the fuck up. Oh my god, bro, what the fuck was that? But yeah, the counter, is very nice because it makes the stand out. Yeah. Problem is, obviously, it's a counter. To get the value that you need, you have to get hit with the counter activated. But it's obviously gonna be one of the worst version of counter, because when you have a stand like Star Platinum, where you can just press the button, it's immediately gonna be more valuable than a rage counter. So objectively, it's kind of a downgrade compared to normal rage mode. What the fuck is wrong with you? Now, obviously, this is my opinion, and people who main Crazy Diamond do exist. But, like, M1s do, like, the majority of the fighting. Now, obviously, this is my opinion, and people who main Crazy Diamond do exist. But, like, M1s do, like, the majority of the fighting. And if all of your moves get cancelled, yeah, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna do a whole lot of things. You can definitely find better options. Now, the stand is not worse than your Hermit Purple or your Mr. President, and maybe you can make it work with a good spec. I use mostly boxing because I like this spec, so I mostly use boxing in mine. But the problem is you're basically putting hot sauce on a brown monster. At the end of the day, you're still eating shit. So, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. That was my little TED Talk of Crazy Diamond. I'll see you later, and maybe I'll talk about another stand next time. So, see you.